Hi everyone from none other than Tom Swazi's field office here on the North Shore of Long Island, as locals pronounce it. As we all know, amid the expulsion of none other than Brazilian-American former Congressman George Santos, we find ourselves in a moment here in New York State in which there's going to be a special election for New York's 3rd Congressional District on February 13th. Now, New York's 3rd Congressional District is the wealthiest in the whole state, and in 2022 was the 4th wealthiest in the whole nation. What does it consist of exactly? Well, it's the North Shore of Long Island, as I mentioned. That's 3/4 of the district consists of Nassau County. Nassau County traditionally has been a Republican bastion dominated by the county party's machine. But in recent years, specifically since 1992, when it voted for Democrat Bill Clinton at the presidential level, it's consistently voted Democratic for president. This district in particular was won by Hillary Clinton by 6 points in 2016 before almost doubling that margin to 10 points for Joe Biden in 2020. The district is, of course, right here. So let's go through exactly what it consists of. As I mentioned, 3/4 of it is in Nassau County. The other quarter is in Queens, so it consists of all of the Whitestone area, which leans Republican on paper, as well as all of the affluent Douglaston Little Neck area. Now, one of the outliers within the district is all of Queens Village, which is generally a lot of communities of color, working class. You have a very demographic, as well as Belrose, Manor, and Floral Park, which have a heavy Indian population from the Kerala province. This district is around 1/4 Asian American on paper, just over 50% white, 55% white American. But overall, what does it consist of? Well, historically, Levittown was the first modern American suburb within the post-World War II era, when the Eisenhower Interstate Act and the GI Bill really supported the mass suburbanization of America, Levittown having been the most prominent early example of that. In addition, famously, the district includes Theodore Roosevelt's estate at Sagamore Hill, which underwent a $10 million renovation some years ago, and of course was the site of the Great Gatsby novel. It's very wealthy, as I mentioned, and it's really embodied within the Locust Valley Lockjaw accent of the WASP demographic here. The district itself is more diverse than that on paper, though. Right now we find ourselves in Glen Cove, which has a prominent Hispanic population, and of which Tom Swazi was once the mayor before being Nassau County's executive and then a member of Congress for quite a few years. Swazi, of course, after being the mayor of Glen Cove, and he actually lost the county executive race before being elected to Congress. But he gave up his seat in the 2022 cycle when George Santos won it to challenge then incumbent Governor Kathy Hochul. He lost that primary, but now in this very fierce moment finds himself making a comeback to office. His opponent is none other than Macy Pillup, a Nassau County legislature who is a former munitions officer within the Israeli Defense Forces, an Ethiopian-born Jew. So she has an interesting profile as a person of color, but it appears from our canvassing today that Swazi has the upper hand, as we are just amid this first snowfall of the season in Seacliff. It appears that Swazi will have the upper hand going to Election Day. We'll see what the results suggest in this close swing district that is D+2 on paper. February 13th will tell the results, but here we find ourselves in Glen Cove, New York. This is New York's 3rd Congressional District, site of a major battleground as Democrats look to prove themselves going into Election Day.